All right. So what type of course could you sell under $100? That's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. If you're new to my space, welcome. It's your girl, Sherry Summer Bell. I help you, the expert, craft a low ticket mini course using our sales psychology that naturally activate your buyers. Now, when it comes to mini courses, we are looking for courses that people don't have to think hard to say yes to, and courses that will give them a relief and not a responsibility. Before I get into what type of mini course you should create, let's talk about some of the things of what type of courses not to create first. What does not sell under $100? And I have my handy dandy iPad. If you see me looking down, that's because I came ready with my notes. And this is important. And the reason why this is important, again, is because your low ticket buyer wants relief, not responsibility. So when you're thinking about building a course to sell under $100, you want to build, if you're building a course and you're saying, hey, I want to sell a course of how to start a business from scratch. Now, that's too big. That is just too big. So if you have a title like My Entire Framework or Everything You Need to Know About Sales, that's just way too broad. When you're thinking about a mini course that actually sells, it's not the full system. It's not the full transformation. And it's definitely not from A through Z. Okay, that's just too much for people to take in. A mini course that sell under $100, this number one job is to solve one specific problem the buyer already know that they have. One specific problem that the buyer already know they have. So I have four for you today, and I'm going to touch on all four of them right now in this conversation that we're having. I'm going to touch on all four. And so grab your diva notebook, your diamond pen, and we're getting ready to get in. All right. So let me, of course, I could not, I have to share with you my whiteboard. So let me go ahead and switch over to my whiteboard. Now, when we think about the mini course that sell for under $100, number one, we're thinking about it has to have a single outcome course. So it's a single outcome course, a single outcome. That's the key word, course. And because this single outcome course, the idea behind that is because it answers one urgent question. One urgent question. So an example of a single outcome course is write one sales page that converts, right? What is a single outcome? One sales page that converts. Or create your first mini course outline in 60 seconds. Now, before I go any further, let me say this really quick for the people in the back. I know when we're talking about mini courses, your mind could probably say, "Hey, but you know, Sherry, mini courses doesn't work for my industry." Right? That's how our mind trick us into, oh, this doesn't work for my industry. And guess what? That's what your buyer is already saying. So it's up to you to shift that perspective. So let me help you shift your own perspective so you can shift their perspective before we even get into this. Number one, you are creating a mini course is just like creating a presentation. Most people that I know, especially like in the insurance space and so on, they got into the industry that they're in based on some type of presentation, some type of mini course. But they may not have to look at it like it was a mini course because somebody was delivering on a presentation. So therefore, get the word mini course out your mind, and just if you can get into the habit of, okay, this is just a small presentation on one subject matter that give me a single outcome, right? So because believing in that way that my industry cannot, don't use low ticket mini course, that can keep you broke. How do I know? I know because it was years I wanted to switch to low ticket, but I kept saying those type of things in my mind that, oh, I don't think that's going to work because we need to explain everything. When truth of the matter is, even though you're so far ahead, and I get these from my expert professional women who are licensed expert, who has the degrees and all that stuff, that they want to explain so much, and then the person never take action because just it's just too overwhelming for them. So the mini course alleviate that objection. It helps them to create that single outcome that the buyer can imagine the results immediately. So when you're thinking about creating, number one, it has to be a single outcome. Think about, how can I allow my buyer to get results immediately? This is what the course need to cover. There's this thing that my offer does that allow my clients to get the results immediately. So that's number one when we come to a single outcome course. The word that needs to come to your mind is immediate. Ooh, immediate. That's the word that needs to come to your mind. One goal. All right. And number two, we're going to talk about another course that can sell under $100 that do really good is a decision making course. A decision making course, this reduces the confusion and and not effort. Here's what I here's why I think this decision making course, we're in a place right now where people have too many options, to the point where they stall. They stall because they don't know what decision to make. Should I do a sales page first? Should I go live on Instagram? Should I do YouTube? Where should I do a podcast? There's so much decision. Think about all the decision that you make on a daily basis, right? Waking up, what car am I drive? This, what am I going to wear to work? And all this stuff. How am I going to do my hair? Whatever it may be, right? So a decision making course, what that is, give you some example of that. An example of a decision making course would be, which offer should I launch first? That's a decision making course. How to price a low ticket offer. That's a decision making course. How to know if your idea will sell before you build it. That's a decision making course. The idea again behind a decision making course is people pay quickly to stop second guessing. If I can say all of the courses out here, because highly educated expert in women like yourself, many times it's not that they don't know what to do, they just stall because there's so much decision that need to be made. They don't know which decision they should choose to bring them the most impact, so they stall and not do anything. I created a whole community called The Next Move just based on this alone. A community where you could just come there to say, hey, this is what I'm stalling with. What should I do about this? And to know the next move, because stalling doesn't pay your bills, right? So it's costing you money when you sit there and don't take action. So creating a decision making course where you explain to your buyer one decision that they need to know that they've been sitting on is powerful. So a decision making course, people pay quickly to stop second guessing. So it's the second guessing that's keeping them stuck, right? So number two is a decision making course. Number three, one of my favorite course to make, and I embed this in all of the courses that I do, and moving forward, I've always have this inside of my courses. And when we're talking about courses that we can sell under $100, number three is a belief shifting course. A belief shifting course, this is where your sales psychology edge comes in. And a belief, because the only way for a person to think differently, inside of my buyer ready messaging matrix, we talk about the two types of buyers, and we also talk about where people are when they find you, what level of awareness they're in. So we were talking about a belief shift course. When a buyer meets your sales page or your content or your creative, right? When you're putting out there to drive them to your sales page, they're in some type of belief. Sometimes they're in an unaware belief. Sometimes they're in a problem solving problem aware belief. That sometimes they're in a solution aware belief. There's a whole study on that. And so based on where the buyer met you when they come in contact with your content, that belief system has to be embedded for them to shift and make a change. That belief system need to be, oh, I was thinking this way, but I came across your content that made me think this way. I was believing this way, but your mini course helped me shift the way I'm thinking, and now I'm thinking this way. And it is so powerful. So an example of some belief system course are why people aren't buying your low ticket offer. That's like a belief system. Why are they not buying, right? And the psychology behind impulse versus intentional buyers. That's an example of a belief shifting course. A belief shifting course would be like for real estate agent, that why the house is not selling. A belief shifting course could be why I'm not qualified for life insurance, right? A belief shifting course, I can be here all day talking about all this because I just love all part of this. But the idea behind this is when why it sells is because buyer feels seen, and and if you're feel seen, you feel trust. When this is a secret sauce that I tell all my clients all the time. If you've ever even been on my master classes or challenge it with me, I said the person who can identify the best and describe what a person is going through at the time of their awareness of what they're going through, they get the sale. They get the sale. So if you can describe a person's situation of what they're in, if you recall when I came into this video, I said to you that, hold on, let me just handle your objection right now, because in your mind is, I don't think a mini course will work for my industry. And I'm like, shift your mind from mini course and think of it like a presentation. Remember me saying that? Shift your mind and think of it like a presentation, because it's just a small presentation of a piece of your bigger pie. And if you're in any of the licensed expert or coaches or consultant space, we do a lot of presentation. We do a lot of presentation, master classes, challenges, in-house presentations, different things, Zoom present. We do a lot of presentations. So having the expertise, a skill of how to embed that sales psychology in there is just chef kiss. For you to know how to do that. So the buyer buys this course because they want to be seen. So that's the key word I'm going to put here is your course. The problem it solves is the buyer feels seen. Like, oh, you understand where I am. You understand what I'm going through. And number 4, and I said this before in a previous video, so I'm going to say it again. Number 4 is a one step inside of your bigger system course. One step. Now, what I mean by one step, if you've been on my videos before, I've always done this. This is I call it my result line. How do you get a person from zero, from where they currently are, to 100? Let's say they get the results, right? They're happy. They're sad. So how do you get that person from that space to that space? What are the steps in order for you to do that? And an example I love to use is a first-time home buyer. There's steps for that person to get their first home. What are the steps that they need to do to get their first home? It could be 1, check their credit. So step 1. Step 2, see how much house they qualify for with the bank, like that letter that they give you. And then step 3, find a real estate agent based on what your information. So the one step inside a bigger system, not the whole framework, one lever could be just one. How do I fix my credit so I can get this house? That's step 1. So it doesn't matter what the rest of the step is. If I just know the one step inside of the bigger system, if you create a course or if you create something telling me what my first step need to be, my one step, and it don't have to be like the beginning step. It could be, hey, okay, when I go to the bank, or how do I pick the right real estate agent, right? One step. And even how do I pick the right real estate agent, that is still that would be also a decision making course. You see how that work out, right? And then, so you're just creating a course around the specific problem that they could be having right now. And so you take your result line that I just create. This is your result line. And you just start thinking of all the different steps that a person go through, but you're not going to create a course on the whole thing. You just pick one of that lever and just use that as your mini course. And now, when we talk about what the course need to be, we also have to understand that what not to sell is, again, that big built from scratch type of course, like how to scale to 10K months. That's different stuff. Automation, system, marketing, too. Whew, that gets overwhelming, right? But in this space of you just using these four items and said, hey, what type of course can I sell under $100? I can sell a course that solves a single outcome that give immediate results. I can create a decision making course that help people stop second guessing, stop stalling. I can create a belief shifting course so the person can feel seen, because I can, that we're based on where they are, or I can create the one step in a big system course. Now I want to challenge you today that if this is something that you're saying, I one of these, I want you to comment below which one you think you want to do. I want to comment below which one of these courses do you think that you want us to create today. Is it a single course, a decision course, a belief system course, or a one course within your ecosystem? I really want to know for you to, I challenge you to do that. I challenge you to do that today, to create that course. And on top of that, now, it would be remiss for me to send you out to do something and don't give you support system. So if this is something that you want to do, you want to learn how to create this, you want help along the way so you don't second guess yourself, make sure you join our Next Move community, where it's a support decision group, so you don't stall and just come in with the question that you're sitting on, and we help you. It's not a course for you to complete, and it's not a training for you to finish. It's the next move, giving you that decision so you can start taking action and start making sales. All right, that's all I got for you today. It's your girl, Sherry Somerville. Talk to you soon.